Hi, Rich Carrubba for bowlingball.com. I want to talk to you about bowling lane oil, carry down, and breakdown. Now, those are terms that we hear all the time relating to lane conditions. But if you're a new bowler or relatively inexperienced, or perhaps even a bowler who has bowled for some time but is trying to learn more about the game, about the sport, and become a better player, then learning about how the oil changes the lane conditions and so on is always useful information. So let's start out, and there's an article. You found the article because right below it is where this video is placed on our website at bowlingball.com. So read the article. It'll give you a pretty good explanation of oil carry down and oil breakdown. But I'm going to give you the bullet points right now. First of all, carry down and breakdown happen together simultaneously. Same time, okay? First of all, carry down. When the ball leaves your hand, a bowler's hand, especially these new urethane bowling balls and these highly reactive resin bowling balls, the balls travel on the front part of the lane where a great deal of lane conditioner is applied to the surface, the first 1/3 of the lane, so about 20 feet. The next 20 feet, the lane machine buffs the oil, and the oil is gradually reduced in volume as it goes the next 20 feet of distance to about 40 feet. And then about 40 feet is where typically the lane machine stops buffing the oil into the surface, and beyond on the back 20 feet, the lane is completely dry. That's on a freshly oiled lane. Well, as a bowling ball passes through the front end of the lane, it grabs oil, doesn't it? It takes it right off the lane and retains some of it on the cover stock of the bowling ball. In fact, when it comes back through the ball return, often you can see oil rings on your ball. So then the oil is pulled down through the mid lane, and finally it runs on the back end of the lane and pulls a strip of oil from a narrow strip to a wider strip depending on the type of bowling ball, approximately 5 to 7 feet of distance beyond the final distance that the lane machine buffs oil into the surface. So it could be 45 or 47 feet of oil in the example of the machine buffing to 40 feet. Now, you'll see that strip time and time again. If you play in the same part of the lane with the same bowling ball, you're going to see a pretty much of a buildup a couple inches wide of oil. If you were to stand back by the pins, turn around and face the foul line, and with overhead lighting, you could see where the bowling ball has pulled oil down the lane in strips or in stripes, however you want to explain it. Next, if you are bowling in a league, for example, and there's 4 or 5 bowlers on your team, then you're going to have anywhere from 8 to 10 bowlers on a pair of lanes. And everyone plays slightly different angle using slightly different bowling balls, so you're going to see strips of oil in different locations on the back end of the lane. Well, as that oil moves to the back end of the lane, the ball won't respond at the break point quite as in the same way as it did when the lane was freshly oiled. And as the oil pulls further, it kind of creates a new area where the ball might hit a point where it skids a little further, so it's going to change somewhat from the break point to the pocket and how the ball motion looks. And as oil is leaving the front end, this is where breakdown comes in. We're having a reduced volume of oil on the front part of the lane, on the heads, the first 20 feet of the lane surface, from the foul line just beyond the arrows. So as oil passes, a bowling ball passes through the oil, it's like a car tires going through a water puddle. The oil spreads aside, then it comes back together. The water spreads and comes back together into an even puddle. Same with the oil on the lane surface. The ball passes through it, oil opens, and then it closes up again. Oil opens and closes until such a time where the bowling balls have pulled so much oil off that particular given area of the lane surface that the oil doesn't close. It leaves a drier part of the lane, higher friction, the ball's going to respond sooner, and you're going to see earlier hooking tendency on the bowling ball. That's when lane adjustments are going to become necessary, aren't they? So the breakdown occurs from the ball pulling the oil off the lane surface, down the lane, carrying it down on the back end, and traveling through, picking up oil in the cover stock of the ball and retaining it in given areas of the lane. So the carry down and breakdown occur simultaneously. It changes the lane condition. It changes the angle you need to adjust to play to the break point. And sometimes you even need to change bowling balls. In the example of that league play, it took the third game of your league. A lot of you, especially you experienced players, might switch bowling balls to give you a little bit more distance and retain energy for the back end of the lane because oil is pulled down the lane through the carry down. And secondly, it breaks down on the front part of the lane from everybody, 8 or 10 people on the same pair of lanes, rolling deliveries over and over and over on the front part of the lane in the same general area of the lane. That's why the industry's turned to heavier lane oil, so it breaks down less frequently and it doesn't travel, higher viscosity, it won't travel as much and carry down quite as far. So there are things that you need to be aware of to improve your game. You want to talk to your bowling coach and learn how to make sensible lane play adjustments. There's many systems that you can do on most of the house conditions today. That's the USBC red pattern. You should talk to your coach about it. We've got articles here at bowlingball.com in Bowlversity section that can address some of that and help you. So we hope some of these tips and some of this information about oil carry down and breakdown help you. Thank you.